Welcome everyone to the 30-day redemption. Today, June 24th, and also the 24th day of our 30-day redemption journey of mind, body, and spirit. We are now heavily into our spirit segment, and today we have a special guest, Pastor Dylan Bergen, and he is an author and a pastor, and he is going to be taking us on this journey of discovering and living in your purpose. Very important subject for this time, especially when people are searching for answers. Finding your purpose may be an answer that you can have more control of. So he's going to show us how to access power and freedom through your purpose, and we will get him on shortly. The opinions expressed in this presentation and those are those of the presenter. They do not purport to reflect the opinions or views of the 30-day redemption or its members, officers, staff, partners, or advertisers. So let's go ahead and get started. There you go. All right. There you go. Welcome.
Did you say I should? Did you ask me to go ahead?
Yes, sir. Said we.
Oh,
Yes, we gave you introduction. We're ready for you.
yeah, I heard, but I'm sorry, I
Yes,
just
no
missed. I
problem.
just sort of had a little moment there. Thank
Sure.
you very much.
Yes,
I
sir.
want to thank you, and I want to thank uh, Rafaela for the opportunity to share today, and I do want to thank my friend Durrell, Minister Durrell, for um, first bringing this to my attention, your group and the great work you're doing, and for encouraging that I get on board with this and be part of this whole movement. And I just want to thank you for the opportunity, Facebook Live. And I'm trying to also get my son to connect me with Facebook Live so that we can get some other folks connecting with us. I've sent out a link to some other people already. And so I'm happy to be able to connect with you and to share. And I do hope that we're really going to have a wonderful time today. I have a lot to share, and I don't know if I'll get you all of it, but it's certainly um, a lot that I want to share because it's just so much rich information. And again, thank you all very much for thank you for inviting me, and I thank the folks who are joining us now. I know it's going to be life changing, and so I want to just let you know that up front. I've been introduced already, of course, and my name is Dylan Bergin. I'm from the Caribbean originally, and I am by faith. I'm a Christian, and so you're going to get some of that coming through. I'm not preaching by any means today. I'm doing a presentation on purpose, and my topic is discovering and living in your purpose. And with the heart of the presentation is to help you to understand that there is a power that comes when you discover your purpose and you're living in your purpose. And there is a freedom that you experience. I mean, a freedom like no other, freedom like you could not explain. When you really discover and live in your purpose, it's just awesome what that does for individuals. It's really amazing what it does for the individual. I want to begin with a story, and this story uh, is a simple story. It's a story of when I first came to live in New York. That one of my associates said to me when I was kind of expressing the frustration and challenge of getting around, and up looks like down and down look like a cross. I mean, it's just total chaos and confusion, and couldn't figure out how to make sense of where I'm going. And he simply said to me, he said, all you have to do is just get yourself lost. He said, just decide to just get on the bus or get on the train or just go about, and you'll get lost, but in the process of getting lost, you're going to really be forced to figure out your way, and you're going to figure your way around eventually. I really didn't like that kind of idea. And I'm generally a rather structured person, and I like clarity and direction and so forth. So I don't want to get lost, and I don't want to try to find my way and that sort of thing. It's just not my style. It's just not my comfort level. I like to get instruction and direction and clarity, and then I move. And as I think of that story and as I share that with you, I would tell you that what I did was that I got a few maps. I got a few maps.
Here.
Few friends brought me maps, and I bought a couple of maps. I picked up a couple of maps from the subway station and so on. So every time I was going to travel on public transport, I would open the map, figure out where I'm going, and then so I could know how to get on the train and where to get off. So I felt comfortable, and I kept the map. I mean, these maps got torn after a while, of course, because I really became friendly with the maps. I didn't want to get lost, and I didn't want to miss any bus stop or the train stop. Well, life without purpose is like life without a map. That's not to say life doesn't have purpose. Let me rephrase it. Life without discovering your purpose is like living without a map, is really life without a map. Conversely, life with the awareness of purpose and the functioning of your purpose is life with a map. So you have a map. If you discover your purpose, and you're living in your purpose, then you have a map for life, which makes all the difference. Now, having said that, you already see where I'm going with all of this. So obviously, we need some definitions. And one of the definitions clearly should be purpose. But before I give a definition of purpose, I want to define two other things. This period and time in this circle is referred to as 30-day redemption, a 30-day redemption. And the question is, what is redemption, or what does it mean to be redeemed? The short answer is that to redeem something or to be redeemed means that a ransom has to be paid to free someone from another person's ownership through payment of a price. Very interesting, through payment of a price. It doesn't have to be money, but something has to be paid in order to reclaim that which is owned by someone else. In comes the question, who owns you? Or you can say, what owns you? Or are you owned by something or someone? And the hard truth is that we're all owned, we're all owned. Something dominates your life, something controls your life. There is something that is a driving force in your life, something physical or non-physical, tangible or intangible, inside or outside. We're all owned by something or someone. So just imagine for a moment that you are in a box, and the box has locks all over. How do you get out? I mean, how do you get out of this box? The answer is you get out through the key of purpose. Purpose is the key to get out of the box. Very interesting. I said earlier on that I'm a devout Christian. And something interesting in the Bible, it says that those who turn their backs on idolatry and injustice would find freedom from evil and judgment, or sin and condemnation. And what's the idea here? That when you find a key to unlocking your life, and I'm telling you today, the key is purpose. When you find the key to unlocking the things that own you and hold you and trap you, then you're free. And in that freedom, you experience a sense of freedom from condemnation, a sense of freedom from the stronghold of evil in your life. So that's definition there. Redemption and the power of purpose to unlock a person's life, because we're talking about redeem and redemption. The other thing I want to define, because in this 30-day journey, there is the division in sections of the body, the mind, and the spirit. And I've tuned in sometimes and I've seen some of the presentations on those areas. And of course, we are now into the period of the spirit. And so since we are into this last 10 days in which we deal with the spirit, the question really should be asked. We shouldn't just assume that we all know what we're talking about when we say spirit, because spirit can be very general. And when you say spirit, you can simply mean the mood or the general setting or idea and desires of a place and the expressions of people's emotions and so on. So you say, what's the spirit of New York? What's the spirit of the meeting? What's the spirit of the group? You're talking about the mood, the feeling, the expressions, the wishes, and so on. But beyond that, do you know that the word spirit really, in a simple way, really means breath? It means wind. And I did say that I'm going to, let me just give a quick apology here, because I did say I was going to share my screen. And, I don't want to just appear to be talking to you. So let me, just by habit, I would talk to folks if I'm on the Zoom, but not be sharing my screen necessarily. Can you just give me a check to make sure? Can you just let me know? So maybe Rafaela or Shabazz, can you let me know if you're seeing my screen well? And
yes, we see your screen.
All right, good. All right, so I'm down here at let me just separate that here now. I'm down here at spirit. Spirit is number 2. And so that's right here. I'm at spirit. So spirit is wind, is breath. It's invisible and immaterial, yet it's a powerful force. It's a powerful force. I like to think of it as the you within the you. So I say, oh, I'm speaking to myself. Who's the myself I'm speaking to? There is something inside there, But also spirit has the idea of capacity, the capacity for something. So if I take this bottle, for example, and it is made to carry liquid, and there's a cap, and the cap is made to fit the bottle. Now, if I use a different cap, the cap might be too small, so it may fall in, or it may be too big, it may just sit on the outside. Either way, I'm not going to be able to use the bottle for its intended purpose, because it doesn't have the cover, which when the cover is placed on it, secures what is inside and prevents it from falling out or throwing away. So once the cover fits the bottle, then the cover or the mug, the jug, once the cover fits the carrying container, then by fitting it, it means that the fullness of its purpose is on the way to being realized. And once you pour something in it, then you really see the purpose of it, because what you pour into it not only stays in, but can be transported safely. And you stop, and notice I emphasize the word stop. Pay attention to that, because later on you're going to see how it all comes together. The cover prevents or stops things from coming out, the liquid from coming out of the bottle. The cover stops or prevents the liquid from coming out of the bottle. Notice I've been emphasizing that, because you're going to see the connection in a little while. So now we've talked about redemption or redeem. We've talked about spirit. Now we're going to talk about purpose, which is the whole purpose of this talk, isn't it? So purpose is your reason for doing something. It's your reason to exist. It's the reason for something to be done. It's the reason for something to be used. It's the idea of aim or goal. And in both, when you go back to the heart of the word, the meaning of the word, and I've actually written 2 books on purpose, but preparing for this presentation actually sent me to search again at a deeper place. And so when you look at the origin of the word, you find that in both in actually the Greek and the Latin, from which the word purpose originally came, both of them mean something really interesting. Stop, hold, hold back, arrest, cause to cease. Very interesting. So we have stop, hold back, arrest, pause, rest. By the time it gets done, it gets translated from the Greek to the Latin, and it comes down to French. The word proposer or poser actually means to put or to place, to put forth. And it actually also means aim and intention. And that's the word, that's the meaning that it maintains in English. Aim, goal, intention. But I want to take you to I want to make sure that throughout this presentation, we go back to the origin of the word, because you'll see how aim, goal, and intention fit in perfectly with the original meaning of the word purpose, which is stop, hold back, arrest, cause to cease. You'll see that as we go along. All right. So what I've done here, I've given you definitions of redeem, as we're talking about 30-day redemption. I've given you definition of spirit, as we are in this season of spirit. And then I've given you definition of purpose. But there is one addition I want to give you to purpose. And this is my what I prefer to call my specific definition of purpose. And it is right here where the 2 asterisks are there on the screen. Something that must be stopped that I said something must be stopped. Remember I told you, look out for the word stop or prevented. Purpose. When you say purpose, the idea is that you must discover a way to stop something in order for the desired result to be obtained. So the cover stops the bottle from emptying out what is inside, because later on I'm going to need what is inside. If you go to your tap at home right now and you turn the tap on in one direction, the tap, and listen, I want you to listen to this carefully because it sounds a little bit kind of confusing or even philosophical, that the tap in your kitchen, when you turn the tap in one direction, the tap automatically does 2 things. It turns off the stop valve that is inside of that faucet. And by turning off notice what I said, it turns off the stop valve, whatever gadget is inside to stop the water from flowing when the tap is turned one way. By turning the tap the other way, it stops the thing that should stop the water from flowing, and it opens the flow of the water, stops something in order to cause something else to flow. Purpose means that there are things in our lives which we must cut off, block, stop, undo in order for other things that we desire to flow. Oh my goodness. I kind of get the feeling that somebody just received that today, as if it just really just come deep into your spirit and into your mind. So the question, remember I started off by asking you, is there anything that is locking you? What owns you? Because the idea of redemption, that we said redemption is to buy back something by paying a price, buying it back from someone else who owns it. And I ask you, who owns you. So now I'm saying the idea of purpose is that something owns us, and if the thing that owns us is not something good or something that we desire, then we should find a key to unlock the grip that is locking us. What is locking us, we must unlock it. So we unlock something in order to release something else. In other words, we stop the hold that is on us in order that we could be free to go and to do what we really want to do. So purpose, remember I said to you, if you discover purpose, you're going to find happiness. And I'm going to end with that later on. So, so we've talked about purpose, and I hope you're doing well so far, following me along. I have 4 questions for you today that I'm going to share, and then I come to a conclusion. And before we end, you're going to be given some exercises to do. Not necessarily right here on in this meeting, but certainly at the end, you're going to be able to go away to do some things. Some you're going to be able to do while I'm talking to you, because I'm telling you some things, and while I'm telling you those things, you can engage yourself in a mental exercise. All right. So the first question is, I said I have 4 questions for you, and if you look on the screen, the first question is, how to discover purpose? How do you discover your purpose? How to discover your purpose, or how do you discover your purpose? To make this easy for me, I have them there listed from number 7 all the way down to number 1. And I also would actually share with, just hold up to you a picture that would help you. This picture is actually on the back of, I have a book called, that is actually on Amazon.com, called The 7 Steps to Purpose Workbook. The 7 Steps to Purpose Workbook. And I feel really gifted and called to address this matter of purpose, because my journey in purpose, in discovering my purpose and really owning it, started out when I decided to write an essay. I decided to write an essay for a competition on purpose. And when I was finished writing the essay, so much came out of me, so much was being poured out, and I was experiencing a sort of a catharsis and an inspiration that I said, no, I can't bother. I'm not going to submit my work. So I didn't submit the work to the essay competition. I just held on to it. And I said, one day I probably would do something with this. So I wrote a book, and then later on updated the book, then revised the book. Then about 4 or 5 times I revised the book, and I say, okay, I'm not revising it anymore. What I did is that I took that book, which is still available actually on Amazon.com. It's called The Power and the Freedom of Purpose. And I extracted from it the sections that were specifically exercises to be done by an individual. And I put them in this book called The 7 Steps to Purpose Workbook. So the intention is that if you work through these 7 steps, you will get to the place where you say, oh yeah, I know what my purpose is now. Finally, I got it. So on the back of the book, and if you follow the screen, is the same thing I'm showing you, but you're just seeing it in the form of a step, of a sort of a staircase or a flight of stairs. And if you notice, it is each one is a step towards something else. And you notice it gets narrower. So we start here, gets narrower, 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 until it gets, the narrowest point is at the top. And so that's it right there. And so in a nutshell, I'd love for you to buy the book and support the work I'm doing. But even aside from that, I'm giving you in a nutshell the steps to purpose. You must first ask yourself, let's go down to the bottom of, I give you some things here, and I begin with number 7 and go down to number 1. So if you go down to number 1 and then we work our way up. So we're going up the step now. Number 1, who am I? You must ask that question. Who am I? Then where am I going? Then how can I get there? How do I get to where I'm going? Then, having asked that question, you must now analyze your skills, analyze your gifts, analyze your resources. What do I have? Who am I? What are the talents I was born with? What are the skills I've learned along the way? So you analyze that, you assess it, and so on. Then you go up to step 3. Think of ways that you can offer your unique stuff. Do you know that every person in the world has a different set of fingerprints? No 2 persons in the world has the same fingerprints. That's why fingerprint is so important in security and background check issues. We do not have the same fingerprints. God in his wisdom said, I'm not giving any one person the same print. I mean, that's some genius, to give everybody a set of 10 different prints. So you have some unique stuff within yourself, and that you're made a certain way, born in a certain family, born with a certain background, have a certain culture. You get the point. You have some unique stuff. Even if there are others who were born in similar situations, you are actually unique. There's no other mold like the one you were made from. So think of the ways you can offer your unique stuff to the world. Step up. Number 4, assess the needs in the world. Now, I told you that I had some, actually, no, I've sent to Rafaela earlier on that I had, I was going to stand up and do this on the board, but had a little challenge, so I end up having to rush type it and put it up on the screen. So little typos here and there, correct them as I go along. So excuse me on that. It was a rush job to get it up, but I wanted you to have access to it. So you assess the needs around you. What are the needs around me? What are the needs in my zip code? Needs in my town? Needs in my city? All right, how can I help? Where can I fit in with what is uniquely me? Step up. Number 5. Remember, this is a whole course by itself. I'm not giving you everything in 1 hour. So I know you're saying, oh, he moved on from that already, because there is so much to share. And I told you I have quite a lot to share today. A mouthful, and I want to get in as much of it as possible. So number 5, beware of your own drive, or own your drive. Man, I'm so passionate about cars. I'm so passionate about doing people's hair. I'm so passionate about cooking. Man, I just love to help people. What drives you? What makes you tick? What gives you energy? What makes you get up and say, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to contribute. What is the drive? So you own your drive. You acknowledge it, you own it, become aware of it. Because if you don't, you will just run about like a chicken without a head, not realizing that you actually is a drive you have that is really a push. That is not just that you feel a certain way. So own it. And when you own it, now you can begin to really figure it out. So we go up to number 6. You follow your compulsive drive. So you have the drive. And now you see, where is this drive leading me? What does it make me want to do? Who does it make me want to call? Who does it make me want to connect with? And I'm talking about a positive drive now. I'm not talking about negative stuff. Oh, I have this rush for maybe to go out and get a drink, or go out and smoke, or go out and, prostitute myself. I'm not talking about that kind. I'm not talking about addictions and negative habits. I'm talking about a desire to do something that would bring you joy and fulfillment and touch the lives of other people. So you start doing it. Maybe I should go and volunteer at the hospital. Maybe I should go and help them with the youth club in the community, because I'm driven to see that the young people turn around. So what is the drive? Follow the drive. Then we finally get to the place where that compulsive drive and pursuing it leads you to the place where you discover something worth dying for. If all the time I have in the world was to be focused on one thing, if all my energy, my money, the people I know, the opportunities I have were to be focused on one thing, it would be this or this or this. What is that thing? I discovered it. This is what I'm born to do. That's when you know that I've found my purpose. I've just given you a whole course there in a short time, but so that tells you how much more there is to get out of if you were to really pursue this as a whole journey. And again, I do want to encourage you that you could pick up the book and work through it, because I've given away this book to a number of people. You know why? Because I said to folks, I didn't write this book to sell books. I wrote this book. This book actually came out of my journey of exploring my own sense of purpose and meaning in life. So it came out of that, and then I turned it into a book. And now my passion is to get people to discover their purpose, because I find that when people know their purpose, it's so much easier to work with them, to understand them, to connect with them, and so on, because they know their purpose, so they're not getting in your lane and they're not tripping over you. or causing you to trip over them. You see, so it's a passion that I have for people to really find their way. Now, I said I'm going to ask you, I'm going to share 4 questions with you and give you some answers. I've shared the first one. How to discover your purpose? How do you discover your purpose? I just gave you 7 clear steps. Step 1 all the way up to step 7. And as I said, it's a course I offered and it's a book I have. So I could only give you so much in one 5 or 10 minute period. So I must now go on to the second question. Question number 2, how do you live in your purpose? It's a different question. So first you discover your purpose, and after that you live in your purpose. In other words, you function in what you have discovered. You find yourself at home in it. You work it out, you live it out, you process it, you make sense of it. Well, what I've actually done, and I'm pointing you back to 7 things that I actually came up with. And these are principles from the word purpose. I have an acronym. So in other words, I use each letter of the word purpose to give some direction. Now, I'm going to tell you a story I love to tell whenever I talk about this particular thing. And my book on purpose. I love to share this story that I had a pastor friend. He's dead now. Really nice fella. He bought copies of my books from me personally, and we talk and so on. He went to his church, did a conference, a series of like a few weeks of conference with the book, and then with his leaders, and then closed down his church. Pause there for a moment. I want you to hear this story. I'm not laughing because I like the fact that somebody closed down his church after using my book. What I like is that the book meant so much to him. The principles, I should say, the honesty, the radical nature of it, and radical here meaning heartfelt, deep and real. It meant so much to him that he said, I have to pause. And you'll see why in a moment. I'm going to run through this quickly and take you to R. And I said to him, Bishop, I heard you closed down the church. What happened? He said to me, man, it's the book. I said, which book? He said, your book. I said, well, how come I didn't write the book for people to close church? He said, there's a place in the book that you talk about refocusing and retooling. When I got to that section, I realized how many things we were doing wrong. And I said, gotta stop, gotta refocus and retool. Now, remember I told you at the beginning, in the original definition and meaning of the word purpose is the word actually means to stop, to pause, to rest, to cease. So sometimes, I said to you, sometimes you have to stop some things. You have to pause, you have to end some things in order to hit the reset button and then go to where you really desire to go to. So in comes the word purpose, and in it's not in the workbook, it's in the other book, the full length book that is called The Power and Freedom of Purpose. That's the name of the book for those of you who want to get a copy from Amazon.com. PURPOSE. P is plan, prepare, produce. Remember the question I'm answering here now is, how do you live in your purpose? So now I know what my purpose is. How do I now carry out that purpose? How do I fulfill it? Well, you must plan, prepare, produce. You must come up with strategies, with ideas, decide that what do I need to do now, or where is my life going? What do I do with my career? How do I get married? Have a plan for your life, then make preparations to fulfill the plan, and then actually act on what you have made preparations for. I think I want to go to college. All right, well, have you completed your GED or whatever? Have you ever even finished high school? No, but I really always thought that I should go to college because no one from my family went to college. Well, first you must get this done. Then, oh yeah, did very well at high school. All right, fine. Then have you looked into the schools? Do you know what area you want to go into? Have you, well, no, I don't know what area, I just want to go to college. Well, what do you like to do? You see what I'm saying? So you have to plan, then you have to prepare. Did you make the calls? Do you know what it costs? Do you know whether you want to go out of state or state? Plan. And then having planned, now you act on it. You do something about it so that it happens. Plan, prepare, produce. The U means understanding. If you know something but you do not understand it, it may not be beneficial to you. R means retool and refocus. Man, you know, I used to be really good at reading. I was good at sharing, at praying, at talking to people. I was really good at one time, man, you could ask me any figure and I can calculate them for you like a math genius. Well, you know, I used to be so helpful and caring, and now I find I don't even want to be around people. So you've become rusty, you've become tired, you've become broken. So you need to retool and you need to refocus. And in order to refocus, you need to retool. So retooling means, what do I do now? Do I go to see a psychiatrist? Do I need to see a psychologist? Do I need to go back and do a refresher's course? So you must retool and therefore be able to refocus. Or you refocus, you say, no, I'm looking in the wrong direction. I need to look in a different direction. But in order to do that, I must retool. So you see, it's interchangeable sometimes. The other P is, so P-U-R-P, the other P is pride. You must have some dignity and self-worth, you know, feel good about yourself and not be ashamed of feeling good about yourself. Then, and pride doesn't mean you don't express a need when you have one. What it means is that I am confident in who I am and I feel good about myself and I make myself to feel good about myself. O means offense. There are times that you have to accept it. There are times you have to give it. Somebody is hurting you. Something is not going well in your life. You know, if I give up this job, the person who hired me, and when, you know, they didn't think that I was really the best person for the job, they would really feel offended. Is it about that person or about you that you now need to make a shift in your life because you've probably been there 10 years and now you need to make some shift? Somebody is going to get offended, or you need to say to the person in your life, this relationship is not going anywhere. I think you have changed. I think that we have outgrow each other. We need some counseling, or we need to decide what we're doing. It may be offensive, but sometimes you're better giving an offense and saving the day. The S means to sell. So you must market yourself, market your skills, market your gifts. And then E means exchange. What do I have that you need? What do I have that the other person needs? What do I have that the world can benefit from? And in the process of giving something to the world, or giving something to someone, giving something to my job, giving something to my spouse, that I'll receive something in return. So if I show her love and respect and honor, it is going to be easier for her to give herself to me in the bedroom. It's going to be easier for her to feel that it's a joy to probably prepare a meal. Or if I prepare a meal for her, it's going to be easier for her to say, oh, he really cares about me and he's not just waiting on me. You give something, something comes back to you. The principle of exchange. So how do I live out my purpose? Plan, prepare, produce. Understand what you need to do and understand how stuff works. Retool and refocus. Have some pride, and even though you may have been broken and some folks may have beaten up on you and given you some hard times and so on, well, you know, let me still hold on to whatever dignity I have. Let me still dress myself, take care of my hair, you know, fix myself up, you know, dress up myself, spoil myself by going to do something nice for myself. You know, let me have some pride in myself. Some folks didn't do right by me and I need to tell them about it. I know they'll be offended, but offense is important because it helps me to heal. And I need to put myself back out there again. I've been off the job market for 5 years now. Do I believe that I'm worth hiring? So you put yourself out, so you sell yourself. And in selling yourself or marketing yourself, you must also exchange. So you give something, you do something for someone, you volunteer, and they may hire you. So purpose is important. It's important to do these 7 things in order to live out your purpose. And then the other 3 things, I'll run through them quickly. I'm watching the time. Explore your talents. So I'm naturally good at something. Maybe I should try out for the team or try out for in the next time they're doing something in the office, maybe I should try out for it and see, if I would make the grade. Not necessarily something in sports, but maybe something that they're asking us to do something in the office or in the organization or in the church or in the community. Um, Maybe I should try because everybody is telling me I'm good at whatever it is. I'm good at cooking. Maybe I should take some of um, the pastry and see if people would like it. Oh, I don't want anyone to spit it out and frown and say this tastes so bad. But everybody tells me I do so well at it. Explore your talent. Explore your skills. That's number three, explore your skills. Your skill mean that you may have gone to a trade school, you may have gone to university, college, some special program. So you learn something that was not natural for you, but you acquired it by putting in time and sitting at the feet of someone. So you have what? Not just talent now. Talent is what you're born with, but now you have skills. Let me explore my skills. Maybe I should try out to with helping at doing the books for this organization. Perhaps they would give me a chance to come in part-time, and maybe it would go into full-time. Explore your skills. And then number four, meditate on how your talents and your skills can change the world. How your talent and your skills can change the world. And so, you know, I'm here for a reason and a purpose. What can I do? How can I impact my community? So let's start with that. So when I say the world, you can start with where you are. And then from where you are, you would get opportunities. There are some people who start off, I know someone who started out just helping around the office, just as an errand boy. And he wasn't even employed. He didn't have anything to do. And this is a true story in my country. This young man didn't have anything to do, wasn't in high school or anything, and got friendly with someone, with actually a relative of mine at the office. And because they had something called the Under 20 Club, where they were helping young people and caring for young people. So this young man would just go around the office and hang out. So they started sending him on errands. And then he learned to type while he was in the office, just fooling around, passing time, he learned to type. This, I tell you, this is a true story. That young man, when my relative, who was the secretary at the office, when she was leaving that job to go to somewhere else and upgrade, they needed a secretary. This young man, he knew the office, the staff knew him very well. He used to answer the phone for them sometimes. He ran errands, he typed things for them. Do you know that they actually offered him the job? He took the job because he had nothing else to do, nothing to lose and nothing else to do anyway. And he didn't have an education. He dropped out of school early and so forth. He became the secretary of that organization, secretary to the manager, by the way, and stayed for a number of years with the company. And then he moved on from there. He went on to some other jobs and did very, very well because he started out going around the office doing some things. What I'm saying is sometimes where you have to start is small, but if you do well, you grow, and you grow from there to the point where the world can actually get to know you. In this particular story that I just shared with you, and I know the person personally, he actually became a radio announcer on one of the stations in the country. And so people were hearing him all over the country now. So folks who didn't know this boy who didn't have an education, hanging around an office, came to know him as a popular radio announcer. Meditate on how your talents and your skills can change the world. Question number three, and I'm going to rush through this because my time is running fast, and my phone is ringing. I wish. So, number three, what role does purpose play in your success? I'm going to run through this very quickly. I'm going to give you an equation, and actually, this equation, I have that equation. I didn't mention that I have. There's another book I have called How to Become a Model Christian, and I have an equation in the book. It says, if you work hard. Here is it here. Strategy: work hard plus work smart equals least success. I'm sorry, I typed it the wrong way. To not work hard and not work hard and not work smart. So just put a not for those of you who are making notes. Not work hard and not work smart. I just corrected it. So if you don't work hard and you don't work smart, you'll have the least success. If you work hard and you work smart, you'll have you work hard but not work, you work smart but not work hard, you'll have good success. So I work smart, but I don't work hard. You'll have good success because you work smart at least. You're smart and you work smart. Or you work smart and you work hard, you'll have good success. Work smart, work hard, good success. So what does purpose have to do with success? I must have a strategy. To fulfill my purpose, I must have a strategy. To fulfill my purpose, I must assess what structure do I operate in and what is my strategy. To fulfill my purpose and to succeed, I must overcome the 4 handicaps in my life, in life generally. In life, there are 4 handicaps: poverty, fear, superstition, and ignorance. If these things are present in your life, they will handicap you. If you're experiencing poverty, it handicaps you even though you have certain gifts and skills. If you're a person who's always fearful, it will handicap you. If you're a person who believes in just a lot of superstition, it will handicap you. If you're a person who lives without the knowledge of a lot of things, the Bible says that people perish for lack of knowledge. So it will handicap you. And so you must now discover, where do I fit into the world? If I had more time and at some other point, I will talk about the 8 systems of the world and challenge you to figure out where you fit in. I did give my word to Rafaela that I will end on time so that we have enough time for people who may want to ask questions. So let me run ahead and just close out with this. What is your next step? One, I want you to do this. Write down your mission statement in life. What is my mission in life? What was I sent into the world to do? Number 2, write down your purpose. Why am I here? Why am I here? If I had said I would have shared mine with you, but I skipped that for today. It's something I did personally, and I found it to be very liberating. Write down your purpose in life. What is your purpose in life? What is your mission in life? What vision do you have for your life? Write those things down. Extremely liberating, I'm telling you, because I've had that experience. So here's my conclusion. All these 4 things that I've just shared with you, I've shared 4 questions with you. If you can go through these 4 questions and the answers that I provided, this is what would happen. You will become comfortable within yourself. You will become less self-centered and more global focus. You will focus more outside and on others, as well as you focus on yourself. And number 3, you will become braver, bolder, more explorative, and happier person, and a more creative person. When that happens, there's a happiness you'll find, and that happiness will lead to joy, and you will find out that having discovered your purpose to begin with, and living in your purpose actually brings you to a place of happiness and started you on a lifelong journey of happiness and prosperity. And in all of this, you experience what Jesus said: you will know the truth about yourself, truth about your creator, truth about who God called you to be in the world. And that truth will bring you freedom, because you will be living the truth of your purpose in the world. Again, my name is Dylan Bergin. I'm going to end there because I did have a commitment to end at a certain time. But I do want to encourage you, if you will, to go over to my website at some point at pastorbergin.com. Bergin is spelled Burgin, pastorbergin.com. And I do offer some courses with on purpose and becoming a model Christian on my online school, which is called, the website is logoseducation.teachable.com, and it's at the bottom of my presentation here. Logos, Logos logoseducation.teachable.com. And with that, I end. I want to thank Rafaela and company. And I keep saying Rafaela because she's the one I've been speaking to most and reach out to her. But I know she has her team and they have a team. So I want to thank them again for the opportunity to share with you today. And, I pray that God continue to bless all of you and you will indeed connect with your purpose and find the freedom that comes with it and the power it gives you to really live your life with that kind of joy and energy and enthusiasm.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Dylan Bergen, Pastor Dylan Bergen, for a great presentation. We like to open up the floor so that those who have questions and or want to put it in the chat, we could go ahead and have those answered. Right now, we have in the chat, Jabrita says, "This is good stuff." So you
Thank
are
you.
making an impact.
Thank you.
Darrell had a question, and she said, "Can the acronym for purpose be typed here?" And if that's okay with you,
Go ahead.
that can be typed there.
Mhm.
So does anyone else have any audio questions that they like to ask? If not, I would like to ask a question. Give someone a chance. Okay. So I have an initial question. You in the last part of your presentation, you mentioned that if you know your purpose, it will help you with self-centeredness. Um, can we elaborate a little bit on that? Because it's an interesting point, because you would go from being inward focused to global focus, which I think is great because it will give you a sense of other needs besides yourself. How did you come to that conclusion about it being something that helps someone to do that?
Well, the question of purpose really is the question of why. What is my why? Why am I here? Am I here for myself? And go beyond that, am I here for myself only? Am I here for myself primarily? Or am I here on an assignment? So why am I doing this? Why am I here? What is the reason for my existence? And that the answer to that question is, and here is where faith comes in now. Was I created? Is there a creator that deposited me in this on this planet called Earth? What did that creator have in mind? If we answer yes to that question, then we have to naturally, logically follow on by saying, that means if I was sent here and there are 7 billion others who were sent here, then each of us is sent to be a part of what we're doing. Let me use the fingers. Do you know that if you try to pick up a ball, let's think of a football, with this finger, you wouldn't be able to do it. Neither with this finger, you get the point. Now, if you put all of these together, you'll pick up the ball. And sometimes it depends on the size of the ball. You can't, and the size of your hand, you can't even do that. You have to do that. So the two hands pick up the ball. If I point at you, that's one finger, and you wouldn't say I punch you. You may say I poke you. But if I do this, you'll say I punch you, because the fingers now come together to form a fist. I am not here to be a finger, to pick up a ball or to poke someone. I'm here as part of a hand. So when I understand that I'm part of a hand, I can't always want to have my own way, do my own thing, and just think that the world is about me and revolves around me. Now I want to be able to say, how do I fit in with the others and complement them? How do they complement me? So you see, it's a give and a take. And if I may use a portion of the Bible, the Apostle Paul says, "Do not think of yourself more highly than you ought." And at another point, he says, "Consider others more highly than yourself." Now, watch this. If I'm considering you higher than myself, and you are considering me higher than yourself, then we actually want to do the best for each other. And in the process, we compromise in ways that make the world a better place. So we have less selfishness in the world. And even in marriage, it's a big lesson that people who are married need to learn. If I want to do the best for you all the time, and you want to do the best for me all the time, then we begin to compete, not for selfishness, but we're competing to help each other and to be a blessing and a joy to each other And in the process, we actually end up both being joyful.
Now, and thank you for that, Pastor. That was a great analogy, a great example. The
Thank
reason
you.
why I asked about um, the selfishness part is that in balance, is it necessary, or in your experience and purpose, isn't it necessary? Just like there is night, there is day, just like there's male and female, just like there's good and evil. Isn't it necessary that some people's purpose is that they're selfish to show those who are not selfish in purpose? Like, is being selfish also part of purpose if you're being true to yourself based on your experience?
I love your question, and it's a good and provocative question. And the short answer I'll give you to that is that um, you have to two things actually. I'll give you a two-part answer. One is that you always have to ask the question, what is the original intent? In other words, everything has a purpose, and it fits in as part of something else. So by that very definition, you are automatically a part of. You are automatically a part of, which means that you're not in a universe by yourself. And the minute you say you are not in a universe by yourself, that means that if you are operating as if you are in a universe by yourself, that means one, you are not serving your purpose, and two, you are being unrealistic about your role. Now, what happens is, if you are operating as if it is just your purpose to be selfish, then what you are actually doing is that by missing your purpose, yes, you can force other people to discover what is in them, but the energy that is spent doing that, and the energy that they are spending on you to try and, because to really pull it out of them, that selfish person is actually expending energy and is causing them to expend energy. Whereas if that person who is so selfish becomes less selfish, follow me on this, we're going to end up with a world in which there is a lot more peace, a lot more love, a lot more care, because selfishness is actually a cancer that destroys the body. If you think of the earth as a body, or if you think of the human race as a body, selfishness becomes a bad cell, which, if allows to mutate, will destroy the world. Now, you've kind of pushed me here to go into an analogy from the Bible, that the story about evil and Satan in the world is that Satan basically, let me use an analogy here. He had so much time looking at himself in the mirror. I'm just dramatizing the story. All he saw was himself all the time. And then he heard that all the angels were praising God. He said, but am I not as good as him, or even better? And I mean, why am I not getting all of that praise? So now, instead of functioning as one who had a very high position of authority and responsibility, he started now thinking of, how can I be the center of attention? Because at the heart of selfishness, notice what it says, selfish. It's all about myself. And so to focus on myself automatically means to not focus on others. And to not focus on others means that even when my selfishness causes them, let me use your term, to find their purpose, it is not a credit to me. It is actually a credit to them.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Burgess. Now, did anyone else have any questions, comments, feedback for Dr. Burgess before we close out?
Bergin, Gin.
Bergen, I'm so sorry. Dr.
That's
Bergen, I
fine. That's all right.
apologize. Did anyone have any comments, questions for Dr. Bergen?
I just thought the presentation was excellent, and the metaphors that you used were really, really great. And I'm going to have to go back and listen to them again because I'm driving now, but I appreciate your time. Thank you.
And thank you very much. You're very kind. And I thank all of you who have joined, who take the time to connect.
Excellent. Does anyone else like to say anything to Dr. Bergen before we close out?
I
I
was
just would like to
just,
say thank you. I'm sorry, Stella.
it's okay. I would like to say thank you as well. This has been great informational and a lot of things to dive back in. So I have to catch the replay again because I love all the things that you shared. And I'm a person who I like to help others to realize their purposes. So this has been very great thing to go back to and catch the replay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Delon. Once again, I appreciate everything. I think it's very important when we talk about purpose, especially during this pandemic, and we have a lot of time spent alone. People want to feel like they're needed and they're not just living their life every day without contributing. And so it really has, it has you dive in and see where do I fit. And I, just like Estella, I love to connect people with resources according to their purpose or see different gifts in them that could be aligned with something else, some other resources to move forward and make this world just a better place, like you said, in general. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for making the connection so that I can come on to do this. Darrell was my good friend from seminary, and I really appreciate when she recommended that I should connect with you and offer to share, because there's just so much that the Lord has just kept downloading within me. And I want to thank Alexander who typed the thank you. I want to just acknowledge that someone named Alexander typed just to say thanks for the presentation.
Excellent. Also, Jabrita said, love that. This is kingdom. This is love.
I like that. Very
Awesome.
nice.
So what we're going to do, thank you again, Pastor, for bringing forward this information on purpose. What we're going to do is pull up the last few slides for those who would like to get in touch with you.
Sure.
And so that they can reach out if they would like to either purchase your book or if they would like to reach out for any other information.
Thank you.
We did our Q&A. In order for you to reach Pastor Delon Bergen, and he's also an author, you can go to www.pastorbergen.com, and you will be able to reach him. And also, I think he mentioned the book is available on Amazon.
Yeah, the books are on Amazon.com.
Excellent. Please also make sure to share and to tell everyone about the 30-day redemption. We're doing great work here to help people to find their mind, body, and spirit balance. We will be here again tomorrow to do day 25. Look forward to having everyone present who is here. And again, Dr. Bergen, please have a wonderful day, and everyone else have a